Crystal, I don't know who you are. I don't know why Miss Mass is thanking you for all you've done. And I have your book. And she's very much loved by me. Look at these. They're gluten-free and vegan. They were delivered this morning as a surprise from my husband. I can't stop staring at them. Like, I don't want to ruin them. I don't want to eat them.
Yep, these are delicious. I'm gonna wash it down with a pumpkin spice latte. Living my best 28th year. Today is my birthday. I'm 28 today, and I don't feel 28. It feels like an old number, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life, but that's fine because we are gonna go book shopping. I'm by myself today until this evening when Christian gets home and I finish teaching. So I'm going to go to Waterstones in Piccadilly. My parents gave me a gift card for my birthday. I don't have anything in mind, which is very strange because I always have books in my head that I want. I don't know what I want. We're just gonna go and we're gonna go shopping. I have been gifted some amazing books by my husband, and I just I'm gonna do a haul here when I get back from the store with you, but I have to show you what he gave me. The first gift, oh my god, honestly, I nearly cried. Christian completed my Raven Kennedy hardback set. These are so hard to find and they're expensive. And I can't believe that he remembered I wanted these. I don't remember telling him, and I didn't know that Waterstones did exclusives for the first 3. I thought it was just for the 4th one when they released it, but apparently I missed this. They must have done like a really short run of these, but they're all brand new and they're all signed by Ragan Kennedy in gold. How stunning. But let us go catch the train into central London and go book shopping. Dropped all of my books. Stack 1, stack 2, 3. Is that everything? Sit on my laptop. Is that everything? I think that's everything. Let's begin. Oh my gosh, hello. It's been exactly 1 month since we've last spoken. It is October 19th today. We are in the midst of spooky season, and I went back and forth on whether or not I should continue on with this birthday book haul or not, because I have other books. I have birthday books and I have others, but this pile is becoming too big and I'm splitting it, okay? So there's another haul coming, and if you're thinking, Ragan, wow, that's a lot of books. How are you keeping up with all your reading? The answer is, I am not. I wish I could be a full-time booktuber who reads books all day and that's what they do with their life, but I am unable to do that. I have other jobs to do and bills that need to be paid. So no, I am behind on my videos still, and I am not reading as quickly as I should be, or maybe can be. I think I just need some mental space from reading. Does that ever happen to you when you're reading a lot, or maybe not even reading very much, but you still feel like you need to take a break? That's how I have been feeling recently, and so much so that last night I picked up A Court of Mist and Fury for the 3rd time because I just wanted something comforting, and I've read 157 pages this morning. Speaking of
McIntyre. Let's begin with my birthday book haul, okay? I'm so excited to talk to you about this first one. This is a gem. My husband, Christian, found me this copy of A Court of Thorns and Roses, but what makes it very special, it is signed. It says, "To Crystal, thank you so much for all of your help. You are amazing. Enjoy, Sarah J. Maas." This is a first edition printing of this book. Crystal, I don't know who you are. I don't know why Miss Maas is thanking you for all you've done. I don't know if you worked for Bloomsbury. I don't know what, but I do know that this was on my husband's coworker's shelf, and she gave it to him, and he gave it to me, and I have your book. And she's very much loved by me. Now, my husband really delivered. He went through my Amazon book wish list all on his own and chose a few for me. Now, what happened was 2 weeks before my birthday, so like September 12th-ish, I was depressed, I guess is the best word. I was emotional and homesick for America and just like sad in general. And I asked him, because I knew he had some of my presents up in the top of his closet, I asked him just for one book. I was like, if you have a book for me, please, can I have it? And he was like, okay. We went back and forth. Well, what do you want to read? And I said, just give me anything with a dark cover that's fantasy and has like a sword on it, or is about a princess. And he goes, well, that's basically all of them. And I was like, amazing, you have delivered. And you said all of them, multiple. This is the book that he put in my hands. Six Scorched Roses by Teresa Broadbent. And I'm so thankful for this book because it took me out of that slump and that like depression era. It's so good. Okay, so this is by the same author who wrote Daughter of No Worlds, which has been one of my obsessions this year. This is a novella set in her Serpent and the Wings of Night series, which I have not started yet. It's on my Christmas list. I'd love to read that series. This is less than 200 pages. It's like 190. And when I say that this book delivers, it delivered for me. This author is so exceptional at captivating an entire world, an entire political system, character growth, a love story. It's a romantasy novella, all in less than 200 pages. And the cool thing is, this fits into her other series that I haven't read, but she said on her website, you can start with this book, you can skip the book entirely, and it also plays into another series that she wrote with a few authors where like all of the standalones kind of connect. So she has written a story that works in about 4 different ways. So I obviously started with this book and it makes me so excited for this world. I don't want to give too much away because it's very short, but just know that it involves vampires. It is a romance and it involves a girl who is dying and she is searching for a cure for herself and for her family. Exceptional. Thank you, Christian, for giving me this book, especially when I needed it. He also chose for me Rage and Ruin by JLA. Now, I have not read this series. I own the first one. I've owned it for a few years, but I haven't started it because I thought, oh, well, I'm gonna need to buy the second book. So I just like never started it. But I know that it's a YA paranormal fantasy romance that involves gargoyles and like fallen angels, I think. I'm excited. I think most of you probably have read this series, but this is book 2 anyway. Some people have said it's a companion series to another one of her worlds, so I'm not entirely clear on that. If you know about that situation, can you let me know in the comments if I can just like jump into this series? And then my friend Pierre from @PierreReads on Instagram was so kind and he was so on top of it. He sent me this book at the beginning of August. That's how on top of my birthday he was. He sent me one of his favorites, 3 Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. And I have been eyeing this book since it came out. I think there are 3 or 4 books in this series now. I think it's finished. It's about 3 sisters who are all vying for the throne. That's all I need to know. Pierre said to read it. I trust his opinion. He knows my reading taste so well, so I obviously have to give this a try, and I really love the hardback covers, and he knows I love a hardback, so thank you so much, Pierre. It was so nice of you to send this, and I'm very excited to read this winter. Oh god, okay, these next 2. I had to quickly refill my coffee before I talk about these next 2 books because if you've been following me on Instagram or Goodreads, or YouTube actually, anywhere. If you've been following me anywhere in the last few months, then you will have seen that I was obsessed with Fortuna Sworn by K.J. Sutton. And oh, book one was just, I read it in my 24-hour reading vlog, I raved about it, and then I talked about how it was going to be one of my favorite series, and I couldn't wait to get book two, so I bought book two right away, and then I read book two, and I was really let down by the way this book turned and twisted, and it wasn't for me. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna continue on. It's like a 7-book series. I think she's writing a 7th book. And so I bought for myself for my birthday, I bought Deadly Dreams, and the covers are gorgeous. I absolutely love it. But I got to page 48, so you can see here, and I had to put it down because there is a love triangle in this series that I'm not a stan of, and there's a cheating element, and I don't think it's a love triangle. If you're married, you're cheating. She's married to one of them, and people who read this series are probably gonna say, well, Ragan, there's all these other like different elements and stuff going on, like it's not as black and white. But to me, it feels black and white, and I'm just like, I feel icky when I read it. And I also don't love the plot, really. I think I really like this author, like on her Instagram and stuff. Like I follow her and I think that she's really great, and maybe I'll come back to these books one day. But I just got so upset reading this book that I skipped to the very last like 50 pages and read like the big plot twist that happened at the end of this book that everyone was raving about. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm curious. So then I went online and I read what happens in the next few books, and this love triangle still is not wrapped up by the books that are out now. And like I said, there's like 6 or 7 of them. So I'm just really not interested in continuing on knowing that nothing is going to be resolved. I don't think that's spoilery. I think that like you should know going into it, it's a love triangle throughout the entire series, and it's just, it wasn't for me. But my lovely husband, when he was picking out books for me, grabbed this one, the next one off my Amazon wish list, Beautiful Nightmares, and this is fucking huge. It's 800 pages long, and he's like, well, you gotta read it because I bought it for you. So now I'm thinking maybe I will read this book, even though I know what happens, just to experience it and vlog it for you. And then I will read this one, and then we can have some serious chat about this series and maybe do like a discussion about it, because there's so much to unpack in this world. And if you're a big fan of these books, I'm sorry that I don't feel that way, because I really truly loved book one. Anyway, now we're going to get into some of the books from the Waterstones shopping day on my birthday. The first one, however, I do not have, because I read the entire thing and I disliked it so much that I thought it was a waste of my money, so I returned it. And they took it back and they let me exchange it for something else, so that's really good. So whoever's picked up The Last Dragon King, I did read that book. The spine is not cracked. I was very careful about it, but I didn't want it on my shelf. It was not good. It was just bad, and I don't think I should waste my time telling you about it or giving it any kind of clout. Just don't read it. However, some books that I did end up keeping, I kept everything else, was The Secret Service of Tea and Treason by India Holton. It's about 2 rival spies, a fake marriage, and they are like fighting pirates and saving the queen all at the same time. I have started it and I'm like 50 pages in right now, and it's really fun. It kind of has like a James Bond meets Victorian era / maybe like late Regency. I don't know. Is Edwardian in between? I don't know. Just think like old British, okay, meets James Bond with some witches and some magic and some spies and some spy gear and some queens. And I know that this is like 3 books into the series, but they are standalones, but you could read them as a series. I'm just only interested in this one, and it was an impulse buy. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for my gift card. And then I picked up The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I know you've seen this series everywhere. I only picked it up because I love Mel Reed's videos and I love her recommendations, and she recently reread it and she really loved it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. It's a YA mystery kind of Knives Out setting about a girl who inherits billions of dollars from a man she never knew, and then his 4 grandsons kind of vying for her heart and the money at the same time, with a lot of mystery and games. And I am listening to part of it on Spotify. The audiobook is not good. I'm not getting into it. I don't like the narration, and I'm missing so much material that I don't even know where I am at this point. In the book, it says I'm at 109 pages in, but I'm probably closer to 170, but I can't tell you what's happened, so I'm gonna have to go back and reread. But I have to be in the mood for this one, I've decided, because it's a little bit young. It's younger than what I typically read. This next one is a really fun one. Again, from my darling husband. He knows how much I love Mulan, and he knows how much I love fairy tales. So he picked up for me The Warrior Maiden by Melanie Dickerson. I have her, I think is it Rapunzel or? Yeah, I have The Golden Braid, which I was supposed to read in January when I pulled it from my daddy rat jar, and then I never did. So I have to get to this, but I'm really excited to have this book. And then he gave me House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildenstein. And you guys, I really loved this book. It's about, how do I describe it? It says on the back that fans of Sarah J. Maas and Mary E. Pearson will devour this epic fantasy romance full of deceit, betrayal, and false loves that could swallow a person whole. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. You know when you love a book so much that you like don't know how to describe it? That's how I feel right now. It's set in a Venetian-inspired fantasy world, which is really cool. So she lives along the canals, and she is very low on the caste system. And her best friend is the prince, and she is just in love with him, and he loves her back as well. And then an oracle predicts that she will be queen one day, but she needs to go out and find all these things. I'm not going to tell you what they are. And then it goes from there. So good. And this is the regular edition, and there are pictures on the inside. And then you have 2 of the characters have been drawn. I love it. These paperbacks are very expensive, and the hardbacks are ridiculously expensive. So I'm so happy that he picked this one up for me, and I definitely am going to pick up book 2. This next one I'd never heard of before, but when I was browsing Waterstones on that birthday, I was like, anything fantasy romance is calling to me. So I picked up The Wicked in Me by Suzanne Wright. Immortal, powerful, unmatched? ? This is an interesting one because it's a fantasy paranormal book set in our time, but also has characters from the Old Testament, like Cain and Abel, if we're familiar with Christianity. And those people are known as the Aeons, and they are the immortal, like, first creatures of the world. They reside in their own pocket, and our main character Winter is on the run, and she goes to them for help, and there's a steamy romance that comes from it. Very interesting choice of plot devices, but I am 125 pages in, and it's good. It's fun, okay? It's fun. That's all I'm gonna say. You may remember that I recently read The High Mountain Court, and I also picked up book 3 while I was in America this summer back home. Well, I was missing book 2, so my husband very graciously bought me The Witch's Blade. And of course, this is the situation now. How atrocious is that? These are the floppy American paperbacks, and this is the really thick UK ones. Ugh. I hate it, but we're following the sister of the main character of this book in here, and I already think I'm gonna like it better because book 1 was like a 3-star. Like, it was fun and it was fine and it was nothing super exciting, but like I enjoyed it as a fantasy traveling story. But I think that this character is gonna have more pizzazz and finesse and more fire within her, and it's going to be an enemies to lovers romance. I'm interested to explore the world more. And that's that one. Oh, I have some really good little stack here left over. So my friend Brittany from Brittany Allen's channel here on YouTube and Britter Apple on Instagram, she surprised me with a gift card to Waterstones on the morning of my birthday, which just made my whole day. So thank you, Brittany, so much for that. I was actually on the tube going to Waterstones when I received it. So I'm gonna like count these two as like from her, but I picked them out. So thank you, Brittany. We have We Hunt the Flame by Hassa Faizul. I also picked this one up because Mel Reeves recommended it. I've heard great things about this book for the most part. I know one of my friends, Macy from The Bright Side Girl, couldn't get into it because there was like too much going on. And I am like keeping that in my mind when I read this to just like have the time and space to really digest everything that's happening. We're following a girl who is a hunter who disguises herself as a man to protect her people, and we're following a Prince of Death who is a feared assassin for his father, the Sultan. It's a duology. The second one is We Free the Stars. I really love this cover as well. It's very shiny, so I'm excited. It is young adult. And the next one I'm crediting to Brittany would be The Song of the Marked by S.M. Gaither. I have not seen this book anywhere on Instagram or YouTube or Goodreads. I just came across it in Waterstones, and Waterstones is doing a really great job this year of putting out fantasy romance books and putting out books that have just been picked up by traditional publishing houses, but that have been previously self-published. And so like I saw the cover and I was like, oh, that looks like something I would read. And apparently it's very good. We're following a girl named Cassia Graythorn who is trying to take on odd jobs to get medicine and coin to save someone that she loves. And the king asks her to investigate a plague that's going on, and there's a huge reward. So she goes out and jumps at that opportunity. But it means that she has to work with the infuriatingly arrogant captain, and they're going to have to team up against gods and old magic and probably fall in love at the same time. I believe that this is a new adult fantasy romance, so everything that I love. The stack is precariously balanced. Then I picked up the book that's been everywhere recently, My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I love this cover. How cute is it with the purple and pink? I've heard that this is just like fun and don't take it seriously, which I think I would agree with. I read the first 40 pages as a free preview on Apple Books before I decided that I actually wanted to buy it and finish it, so I picked up the physical copy because it's just so cute. Apparently the vampire is like very dumb and he should know about things like texting and, you know, subways and things like that, but we're just supposed to just kind of let it go. This girl needs a cheap apartment. He has a spare room. And I think they fall in love. The next book is one that I replaced The Last Dragon King with, and that would be Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. I've never read a Sophie Lark book, and this is a dark mafia contemporary romance. So a new genre for me. I did read the first few pages and like I can tell that this is gonna be a fun time. And there's drawings throughout it. How fun. And yeah, see, this is still published by Sophie Lark, so I think that's so cool that Waterstones is putting books like this out on the table. This is a hate to love arranged marriage trope, so we'll see how that goes. And then Christian also gave me An Air Comes to Rise by Chloe C. Panaranda. I butchered that. This has been on my TBR wish list for a very long time. I think I talked about this book in one of the first videos that I ever put out this year. We're following a girl named Faith, and her name is spelled the same as my sister, so I have to like look past that because I've never known anyone with her name in that spelling before. Just the first sentence should tell you what this is, okay? It's like every other fantasy book. It says, in an impoverished outer town of a kingdom where fae outrank humans, Faith, an orphan with a talent for swordplay, knows the importance of keeping her head down around the fate patrol. And then there's a very long synopsis. This is screaming Throne of Glass to me, but maybe new adult. And I know there are several books out in the series, so if I like it, I definitely will be continuing on. Wait, I forgot a book. I'm on my way to work and I'm covering up my logo so you can't see where I work, but I found this in my bag, and it is Bride of the Shadow King by Sylvia Mercedes. What page am I on? 59 pages in. I forgot about this. What is this about? Oh yeah, okay, so this is like a princess who's been shunned and cast away because she's basically an embarrassment to her family for a multitude of reasons. So she has this power, but it's also kind of like a disability at the same time that holds her back. And she is on her way back to the kingdom to help her family with something. And her sister is supposed to marry the Shadow King, but she may end up falling in love with the Shadow King. Really love the sparkly blue on this. Anyway, that's the last book. Okay, bye. And then, as I mentioned before, Christian very graciously gifted me the first 3 books to complete my quartet here of the Plated Prisoner series. And just yesterday, she announced a 6th book in this series going to be called Goldfinch, which is so fitting. I loved her Instagram post. Ragan Kennedy was like, I tried to fit the whole story in 1 book, but it was just massive and too big, so I split into 2, and I'm really sorry about it. I'm like, why are you sorry? I love this series so much. And I was also curious how she was going to expand on the world like she wanted to, because at the very end of the 4th book, suddenly the world gets bigger, and I'm like, why haven't we explored any of this in any of the books prior? But now we have 2 more books coming, so very excited about that. Yes, this is my book haul. I hope that you found something to pick up or something that you're curious about. If there are any that you think I should read first, please let me know and I will prioritize them after, of course, I finish A Court of Mist and Fury. I have all of these books to read and I'm just like going back to Daddy Resand, okay? Don't come at me. Let me know what you think I should do about Deadly Dreams and Beautiful Nightmares. Would you like to see a video of me just like word vomiting and spoiling all these books? Please let me know. If you made it to the end of this video, please drop a little shopping bag emoji down below. Let me know what you are reading this October. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Outro plays.